Hey everyone, this is Shannon from theirishscrapper.com, and today we are going to create this fun card using our Gather Together stamp set. This is my favorite fall set, so I've been using it quite a bit. We are going to create this wreath using the wheat stamp in our set. We're going to use our Stamparatus, and we're using a little bit of silver, pretty peacock, and actually our new Delicata silver pigment. Yeah, silver pigment ink. So let's go ahead and show you how I did this. Let me give you our measurements. So the pretty peacock is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I have a piece of Whisper White for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. For the front, we are using a piece of Whisper White that is 4 inches square. And then I have a piece of the DSP that is 1 1/8 by 4. I also have a scrap of our Silver Glimmer and a scrap of our Whisper White. That is for our sentiment. And we are using our 1 1/2 inch circle punch with one of our circle framelits. And then, like I mentioned, we are going to be using our Stamparatus. So let's go ahead and start with that first. So I'm going to grab my 4 inch square piece of Whisper White. And let me see what I did here with my stamp. We're going to grab that as well. So you can see I've made myself a little diagram here. Now this stamp is photopolymer, so I have my Stamparatus, my little foam mat, and then I have a piece of our grid paper here. And what I've done is I've taken my 4 by 4 piece and I've traced that here. And then I've turned it and traced that. So I just made myself a guide. So you can do that with another piece of paper, very easy. We are going to start off with it this way. And hopefully that will hold it. I'm going to grab my piece of wheat and we're going to line that up there. We're going to use our pretty peacock. So with the Stamparatus, I want to put my stamp set under there just so that this is an even surface. I'm going to take my one plate now. Let's pick that up. You can see my paper shifted slightly. So I could be using both magnets. Okay, so let's ink this up in our pretty peacock. We're going to go ahead and stamp that like that. Okay, now I'm going to turn this, and again we will ink this up, and then we'll come back and do our silver the way it is. And so I'm not so concerned about that center because we're going to cover that. So we're just going to keep turning. Take my chamois and just clean that up, wipe that down. We're going to take our wheat out of here. Let me set that aside. Okay, so now with our wreath started, we're going to bring in our silver ink, and I am going to ink this up. Now this will take a little bit to dry. You can use your heat tool if you want to speed that process along. I know it's probably kind of hard to see on camera, so as soon as I get this stamped, I'll lift it up so you can see the silver. It's very pretty. These stamps come in silver, gold, and copper, and they have been on back order. They're supposed to be available the end of October, which is pretty much now. So you could definitely order those and they will send them to you as soon as they're available. Okay, so let's lift this up and hopefully you can see that shimmer. Okay, so now let's take our scraps here. We have our scrap of Whisper White. We're going to open up our pretty peacock again. We're going to take our Season of Thanks. We're going to stamp that. We're we're going to punch that with our 1.5 inch circle punch. We'll let that set here a moment. Let me grab our scrap of Whisper White. Or this is not our scrap, I'm sorry, this is our inside layer. This is the 4 by 5 1/4 layer. And I am just going to take, where did I put it? My little wipe to get that silver off so I don't put it all over my chamois. You could use your chamois and then rinse it in between. That's no problem. I'm going to go ahead and use the pretty Peacock first. And we are going to do our corners. So I'm going to stamp 3 times on the left, top, and bottom. Okay, and that'll just give me a couple colors, a couple shades rather. I'm going to bring back in that pigment ink. We're going to ink this up, and we're going to add some of that in here. Oops. Put the tip of my stamp right in there. Okay, and then we'll wipe that silver off again. Alright, and then we have our inside sentiment. We are using May This Season Bring You Smiles and Love that will last all year. So we are going to stamp that here in the center. Alright. And then we can kind of start to assemble our card. So let's go ahead. I'm going to set that aside. I have to die cut my circle. So let me grab my Big Shot. You can use whatever die cutting machine you have. These are our layering circle framelits, or dies, and I just want to size up from my 1.5 inch circle. A little scalloped, and this is going to layer beautifully. So let's set that aside. We can grab our sentiment here. You can see I gave it quite a nice layer so that some of that silver can come out. And because I'm attaching this to the glimmer, I'm going to use glue dots. You want a strong adhesive with the glimmer, so you could use liquid glue, you could use tear and tape, I guess, if you wanted. For the speed of the video, I'm just going to use glue dots here. Sorry about that. I did not realize that my phone was on. Okay, so we are going to lay that down. I like to just turn that over and press. Okay, so let's see where this would be the best spot to maybe hide those little boo-boos. I think I'm going to put it on this side so when I come up with an idea, I can easily hide those little mistakes. I'll have to remember to clean my magnets too, since I got that on my card layer. Alright, so our card is going to be opening this way, so we're going to line this up like that. We're going to add adhesive. So you will notice, and I'm going to show you here, I kind of changed this layer of the DSP. My first one was 1 inch, and it's fine. I just wanted it to be a little bit bigger. 1 1/4. So here you can see this one is 1 inch. This one is like 1 1/8. 1 1/4 was too big for my liking. So I like this one right here now at this size. So you can choose to do whatever size you'd like. Let me grab some dimensionals here. I'm going to use some of the edges for my sentiment. Why not? It's a perfect use for them. I just like to have a nice sturdy sentiment, so I'm going to put 4 on here. and then we are going to set that right in the center. And we're going to grab our inside layer now. And add that in here. Is that not so cute? This pretty peacock, I never intended for this to be one of my favorite fall colors, and I just find myself using it a ton this year, and I just love it. And this is, again, you know, it's my favorite stamp set for fall in the holiday catalog. There are dies that coordinate with this if you'd like those, and the come together paper is just gorgeous as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's project and the use of the Stamparatus as a little trick to creating your wreath. I do look forward to being back with you real soon, and you can find a full supply list in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.